This is the most important scientific discovery of the last 50 years, and almost nobody knows about it. In 2007, a team of geologists led by Richard Firestone published a paper in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. They had spent years studying a thin black layer of soil running across North America, a layer just a few centimeters thick, but thousands of kilometers wide. Inside this layer, they found materials that should not exist on Earth in those concentrations. Microscopic diamonds formed only under extreme pressure and heat, carbon spherules melted at temperatures over 2,200 degrees Celsius, and a spike of platinum 100 times higher than normal background levels. Platinum, a metal that is rare on Earth but common in asteroids. The same chemical signature was found at over 50 sites across North America, Europe, and the Middle East. In every single case, the layer was dated to the same year, 12,800 years ago. Whatever happened, happened everywhere, at the same time. Then in 2018, scientists from the University of Copenhagen made an announcement that should have been front-page news around the world. Using ice-penetrating radar over Greenland, they had discovered a massive impact crater hidden beneath nearly a kilometer of solid ice. The crater is called Hiawatha. It is 31 kilometers wide, the 25th largest impact crater ever discovered on Earth, caused by an iron asteroid roughly 1.5 kilometers across. To put that in perspective, the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs was 10 kilometers wide. Hiawatha was smaller, but it hit at a critical moment in human history. Initial dating placed the impact around the same time as the layer Firestone discovered, 12,800 years ago. If that date holds, this would be the most significant cosmic event since the rise of human civilization. A 1.5-kilometer iron mountain, traveling at 20 kilometers per second, slamming into the ice cap of the northern hemisphere. The impact would have launched billions of tons of water vapor into the atmosphere, triggered massive flooding as glaciers melted instantly from the heat, sent shockwaves around the planet, and cooled the climate for the next 1,200 years. But what came next is the part scientists are still afraid to talk about, because somewhere, through all of it, someone survived, and they remembered. This is the story of one man and a hill in Turkey. His name was Klaus Schmidt, a German archaeologist working for the German Archaeological Institute in Berlin. In 1994, he was assigned to a region called Göbekli Tepe, Potbelly Hill, in southeastern Turkey, near the Syrian border. Local farmers had been finding strange carved stones in their fields for decades. They had been bringing them to the regional museum since the 1960s. Most archaeologists who looked at them believed it was a Byzantine cemetery, maybe 1,500 years old. Not particularly important. The site had even been surveyed twice before. Both times, the surveyors dismissed it. Klaus Schmidt was the first person to look closely. He arrived on the hill in October 1994. He walked the surface, picked up a single piece of worked flint, and immediately understood that everyone before him had been wrong. The flint was not from any historical period. It was Stone Age. What he saw next stopped him cold. He could see the tops of T-shaped limestone pillars protruding from the soil, pillars that no one had ever recognized. They were not Byzantine. They were not Roman. They were not from any civilization in the historical record. He turned to his Turkish colleague and said one sentence that would change archaeology forever. "This place is older than anything we have ever seen." He was right. The pillars weighed up to 50 tons each. Each one was carved with deep, deliberate reliefs of foxes, snakes, scorpions, vultures, lions, and creatures that have no name in any human language. The pillars were arranged in perfect circles, and their orientation aligned precisely with specific stars in the night sky. When his team carbon dated the organic material trapped between the stones, the result was so extraordinary they had to repeat the test 3 times to be sure. 11,600 years old, 7,000 years older than the pyramids of Egypt, 6,000 years older than Stonehenge, 5,000 years older than the invention of writing. The oldest megalithic structure ever discovered on Earth. Klaus Schmidt spent the next 19 years of his life excavating Göbekli Tepe. He found 4 enclosures fully exposed. Ground-penetrating radar revealed at least 16 more buried beneath the hillside, untouched. The carvings on the pillars are unlike anything else from the prehistoric world. Strange hybrid creatures, geometric patterns, symbols that resemble nothing we have ever seen before. But the most haunting discovery was at the base of one specific pillar, a pillar known to archaeologists as Pillar 43. It is also called the Vulture Stone, and what is carved on its surface may be the oldest written message in human history, a message left for us. This is Pillar 43. It stands inside Enclosure D at Göbekli Tepe, discovered by Klaus Schmidt's team in 2002. What is carved on its surface has divided archaeologists for over 20 years. At the top, a vulture, wings spread, holding a circular disc. Below it, a scorpion, a snake, a fox, a ram. A cluster of geometric symbols that resemble nothing else in the prehistoric world. For most archaeologists, these are simply animals important to the spiritual life of Stone Age hunter-gatherers. But in 2017, 2 engineers from the University of Edinburgh proposed something different. Martin Sweatman and Dimitrios Tsikritsis ran the carvings through astronomical software. What they found was startling. The animals on Pillar 43, they argued, were not random. They matched the positions of specific constellations in the night sky. The vulture was Sagittarius, the scorpion was Scorpius, the fox was Capricorn. And when they calculated the date when those constellations would have been in those exact positions, the answer was the same number that has appeared throughout this entire investigation: 10,950 BC, within decades of the Younger Dryas event. Their conclusion: Pillar 43 may be the oldest written warning in human history, a date stamp carved into stone by people who watched the sky go dark and wanted to make sure no one ever forgot what happened. Mainstream archaeology has not accepted this interpretation. Most experts believe the carvings are ritual, symbolic, not a calendar. But there is one more piece of evidence that no one disputes. Around 8,000 BC, roughly 3,600 years after Göbekli Tepe was built, the entire site was deliberately buried, not abandoned, not forgotten, deliberately covered with thousands of tons of dirt and stone, by hand, over a period that may have lasted generations. The people who built Göbekli Tepe, or their descendants, chose to bury it. Why? We do not know. What we know is this: 11,600 years ago, hunter-gatherers built a stone temple aligned with the stars. 12,800 years ago, something hit the earth. 500 cultures across every inhabited continent remember a flood that ended a previous world. These 3 facts may be unrelated, or they may be the same story, told 3 different ways, by 3 different generations of survivors. Someone built Göbekli Tepe. Someone watched the sky. Someone left a message. And then they buried it, and waited for us to find it. This is Architecton. This is the most